Hello guys, this is Keys to the Truth, and in this video we're going to discuss the shape of the Earth. Well, we all might have different theories based on different sources and ideas about what the actual shape of the Earth might possibly be. Want to share some of these sources here with you and what I think is a very solid, tangible evidence of where this could lead us. This is one of those ideas that's hard to prove because you can't actually get there. Not in today's legal framework, anyway, and international law and travel independence. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have any resources at our disposal. So um, one of these sources could be the ancient texts and the ancient maps. Knowing which ones are real and which ones aren't, though, is the tricky part. So I'm leaning more towards this type of scenario where we live in concentric circles. And I'll tell you why. Um, we know, of course, that it's not round, it's not a globe. If you are struggling with that, please go watch hundreds of videos or a few videos on the subject, the proofs, the debunks, everything. Compare them, do your homework, and come back because this is more of like an advanced shape of the Earth video. Um, I'm not being pretentious. I'm just saving hours of time here to do a short video on these latest developments that I've come across. So anyway, why would there be concentric circles like this? And then let's see. I had a friend who's a Hare Krishna. He's actually quite well known. He has a pretty big channel in his circles, no pun intended. And he sent me this text, which is the Bhugola Varnanam, written by Saint Sri Vadiraja, allegedly. And so this is the whole basis for dismantling this mystery, because it is a mystery. There's a lot more theories. There's another theory here, within the non-globe aspect, where you might say, oh well, there's a firmament above, and there's a firmament maybe in this outer rim, and that's all there is. There's nothing more. Or there could be concentric circles, or there could be an endless plane, or we could be faced with some sort of nos confunden map where you have something like this. Any of them could be real, any of them could be false. This entangling this myth or this reality is the crux of the matter. So let's see what the ancient texts, where they might lead us. All right, so let's see. Invocation first. Always in all Vedic literature, you always pray to the Most High before doing anything else. So I will read that just in the spirit of truth. I bow down to the feet of Lord Narayana, who appears with his horse-headed form, Hayagriva, who is both far and near and is dear to those who always remember him. Now, Narayana literally means in Sanskrit, he whom floats above the waters. And if you remember Genesis, it says the Spirit of the Lord was floating above the waters during creation. So Narayana is the same exact thing. It's the same exact supreme being. He's not fully comprehended even by the Upanishads. He has afforded lodging in his heart to Kamala Devi, Sri Mahalakshmi, who knows him and yet knows him not. He's verily and here they're talking about the supreme feminine deity and their loving aspect. And if you notice, everything around you is an offering of the Most High to His beloved. Everything, from the sun and the moon to the male and female flowers, everything. He is verily the lake wherein the fish-like eyes of adoring devotees move about sportively. He is indeed Lord Hayagriva. I bow down to Sri Vyasa Maharshi, who is the sun that dispels darkness of our hearts. He is the originator of all the sacred sciences. He is none other than Lord Sri Narayana, the creator of all. Lord Vedavyasa is like the thunderbolt that strikes at those who choose the wrong path and mislead others. So don't get lost in the nomenclatures. The creator of all. That's all you need to know. All I need to know. All right. So let's move on to the nitty gritty, and where I had that voila or eureka moment, and it's on page 57. And you can always shoot me an email, keys2truth@gmail.com, if you want this document, or you can probably find it online somewhere. Um, so let's see. Okay, so they're discussing the shape of the universe, and page 57 is where they get into the details of the terrestrial region. And mind you, this is not even the original Sanskrit. So this is translated into English, and I wish we could have that original text so we could dive deeper. But even if it's mistranslated, a lot of the truth is going to come through. So I'll keep looking for it, and when I find it, I'll let you know. The terrestrial region. Basing our concept on the measurements indicated heretofore, the Earth should be understood as consisting of the 7 islands and the 7 oceans. The middlemost island, Jambudvipa, measuring 1 lakh yojanas, and each of the outer islands being twice as large as their inner complements. Similarly, the 7 surrounding oceans too should be considered. Thus, the diameter of the circular Earth measures 5 crore and 7 lakh yojanas, up to the encircling land of gold, which itself is surrounded by the land of diamond. The last two are known as Antjadjarda Shtala. This point will now be discussed. So right there, I had that aha moment. They're talking about the 7 seas, just like we've had for hundreds, if not thousands of years, as part of our collective consciousness, the phrase sailing the 7 seas, which is a classical expression, to sail the 7 seas, signifying your skill in the ocean. So it goes back to, before the Greeks, before the Sumerians, and I'll tell you what, it's not a figure of speech. It's actually what reality is. However, these are not the 7 seas that we're led to believe, but they're actually 7 concentric seas. 7 concentric seas. 7 concentric islands. Dvipa is an island. And so here we have, in the very language itself, Sapta Dvipa. Sapta means 7. Okay? And the definitions is, Sapta Dvipa refers to the 7 continents situated within the world, Earth, Prithvi. These continents are located above the 7 hells or patalas. And they consist of the first one, which is where we live, supposedly, which is Jambudvipa. Jambu is also a tree, so this is referencing the huge tree of life at the North Pole. Shaka Dvipa. Shaka can also mean tree, but more like branches. Then Kusha, Crownshot Dvipa, Salma Dvipa, Gomera, Pushkara Dvipa. Each continent may contain even more subcontinents. You see, they're leaving no doubt right there that this is in fact the case right here. We have our Dvipa, but that island where humanity lives, which is called also Madhya Loka, which is the Middle Kingdom, which is how the Chinese referred to themselves as well, because it's all part of one. Australia, Africa, South America, North America, Asia, Europe, we're all one single giant island with subsets of islands. So each continent may contain even more subcontinents within them. They are round in shape and are encircled with 7 concentric oceans. So there, it's definitive. And this is coming from the Tantra, which is an old Shaiva Siddhanta Tantra dating from before the 10th century. Like, this is thousands, if not millions of years old. Like, give me a break. They put throw these numbers out there just to, because they have no idea. And then, so let's see what other sources might have. The Baraha Purana. In Puranic cosmic cosmology, there are 7 islands, the 7 continents or dvipas, ruled by the 7 sons of Priya Vrata, which is the son of Svaya Bhuva Manu. So it's from the Baraha Purana. And that's very interesting. That's Varaha. And this text is called Bhugola Barnanam. So Barnanam is similar to Baraha. It's not the same, but it's similar. And Sanskrit, remember, it's a very poetic language. It's a multidimensional language. So you have multiple things going on at the same time. You have anagrams, you have acronyms, a lot of stuff. So you have to be conscious of this. And I'm not saying that I know all of it. Of course, I don't, right? I'm very ignorant. And I'm learning these things as I go, as the Lord, in His grace, allows me to, and share them with you. But what I'm saying is sometimes, even more so in modern day, I mean, some Brahmis and Brahmins and Swamis and even gurus might not necessarily believe in this. So it's that aspect of belief and non-belief. They might be deluded by the black magic of Kali Asura and Kali Yuga. So they might think these texts are just on faith alone, whereas they're actually reality. And you have to have a broader context to be able to realize that they're truthful, and everything else is the delusion. So Narayana, okay, creation, again mentioning it. Jambudvipa is the one where we're at, and it literally means the island of the tree of Jambu. Saptadvipa refers to the 7 continents, also in the Shiva Purana. Accordingly, as Vishnu said to Daksha, on hearing these words of Vishnu, Daksha began to ponder. He sat quietly on the ground with his face turned pale. The whole earth containing the 7 continents, Saptadvipa, shook with fear. All the oceans, forests, and mountains were excessively agitated. The 7 islands of the earth, the 7 seas, sailing the 7 seas. So they put this in our face, okay, mocking us and mocking that they have come up with this educational system that is garbage and that we're so completely ignorant and devoid of truth. So we have to continue looking for the truth. It's part of our journey here on earth. Okay, Saptadvipa or Saptadvipavati refers to the whole earth with her 7 divisions and her garment of seas, according to the Ahir Budnyasa Samhita, belonging to the Pancharatra tradition, which deals with theology, rituals, iconography, narrative, and others. The king shall obtain territory, victory, wealth, a long life, and freedom from diseases. A king who regularly worships shall conquer this whole earth with her 7 divisions and her garments of seas. Saptadvipavati. Okay, so we have 4 sources already. That book I showed you on PDF, the Baraha Purana, the Shiva Purana, and this other text as well. So 4 sources of ancient wisdom telling us what the shape of the earth is. Okay, so I think that's pretty solid right there. Saptadvipa, an epithet of the earth, 7 islands, the 7 seas. Okay, 7, and they have to put this junk here, mythological divisions. They're not mythological. There's nothing mythological about them. Okay, now there might be, the ice walls, and there might be passages between them, or not, or they might be cyclical. They open up or not. Those are different subjects that open up, or there might be interdimensional walls between them, or not. And There's a part of the text that mentions that there are might be interdimensional walls. So here I'll read that. So here we go. Da'ant ya Darya Shtala, land of gold and land of diamond. But let's see. Let's go back. Before that, I would like to mention on the name of this text, which is the Bugola Barnanam, and let's see what light we might shed by decoding it in Sanskrit. So Bu means land. It can also be the base of something, and so it's used in conjunction with the base of geometrical figures, and also with the earth, because the earth acts as the base for a lot of stuff. So Bu is used for earth, land measure. It's also sacrificial fire, matter, object, base of a geometry, like what I said, the floor, the land, the ground, space, place of being, where beings can exist, because from there you get Bhuta, and Bhutas are spirits, ghosts, or corporeal beings too. Um, Gola means a ball or a circle. So this is where a lot of people struggle because they say, "Oh, Gola." Well, it's saying the Earth is round like a sphere, but it's not necessarily a sphere because it also means a circle. Um, and when it's talking about the sphere, it's talking more about the cosmic egg. Um, the cosmic egg. Here we go. Where did I put that? So the Brahmanda, or the cosmic egg of the universe, is, the entirety of like the earth and beyond, including the skies and the underworld. And that could maybe be some sort of a circular shape. We don't know. The Brahmanda could possibly be ultimately a circular, a spherical construct where we're here in this plane with the tree of life going all the way up and down. This is beautiful. I hadn't seen this one. And you have the hells below, okay? And we have the seven concentric oceans and islands right there. So this is golden. This is golden right here, guys. Okay? This is what is referred to as Mount Meru. Is not really a mountain. It appears to be a mountain, but it's actually the trunk of the tree of life, which we can see from anywhere in the world because it lights up at night. It's the Milky Way. And I'm sorry sometimes I repeat these concepts, but some people it's the first video they watch from me. If not, I mean, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you check out the playlists on all these subjects because there's a lot of information. And so, I mean, we just have to learn so much. We've been deluded all our lives. Anyway, so let's continue the reading. Let's continue the decoding actually first. So Bugola is the circle of the earth, but it could also mean the sphere of creation. Okay? Because Bu is also space or world or universe or created being. So it's the space where creation unfolds. It's the circle of creation. You see? So if you know a little thing, somebody can fool you, but if you know more, then they can't fool you. Okay, so the second part of the name of this text, Bugola, we got that. Barnanam. Barnanam, let's see what that means. It could be pronounced war. Remember, the V sound is pronounced as W also in Sanskrit. So var is war or war, which means water. And we have the same letters here, W-A-R. W-A-R. This V is W. So that's where the word water comes from. So war. Warna, all right? And it means other things as well. Wara means the bridegroom. And we have a very clear allusion here to Jesus, whom is also the bridegroom. And this is not me, being what people refer to as a syncretist or some other label like that. It's just we're connecting the dots because we're trying to find the truth. All right. Barana, and so the text says Bugola Barnanam. It doesn't say Barana, but or Warana, but there's that poetic aspect I mentioned. So Warana is a selection, a screen, and selecting, a choosing, a surrounding, warding off, restraining, resistance, relating to prevention, prohibiting. So you see how these 7 C's and 7 areas of habitation act like a screening. So that makes sense right there because they're surrounded, they're warding off. You're not allowed necessarily magically to go. There's restraints between impediments between traveling, all right, and there's also causeways, right, and tree. It's also always referencing the tree of life because it could be the 7 concentric rings of the tree of life. So Barnana is also a description, a narration, a painting, a writing, an explanation. So when it's a delineation, right? So this is the description of the sphere of creation, righty? So very, very interesting. Let's go back to the text. Land of gold and land of diamond, with reference to the location of Loka Parvata, which rounds the entire terrestrial region. The measurement of Earth other than Brahma Bhumi is said to be blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can research the exact measurements and comment on them. I'm not going to get into that right now because we'd be here all day, but feel free. The measurement is given. The land of gold should be therefore measuring 64 lava. Does not actually mean half at yarda, but, and if you notice here, they're using a measurement for distance and yard. You see that yard, like your backyard or like the 10th yard line. So this is where that word in English comes from. Does not actually mean half, but it means with a little addition to half. Therefore, so whenever you're reading Sanskrit, be on the lookout for words from other languages and you'll start noticing them everywhere. And that's how you come to the realization that all languages are shadow languages that are just partial truths from the overlying truth, which is Sanskrit. Okay. So anyway, it starts with the earth with 7 islands and oceans, and then there's a land of gold, and then the land of diamond. Brahmabhumi, extending Vajra Lepa is the Vajra means diamond, but it also means lightning, and forming part of the foot of Loka mountain. Okay. Measure line inferior would be. Let's continue. Following duration of 1 to 4, the land of darkness will have to measure 16 crore and Ganodaka. 32 crore. The total would be 56 crore, and this is entirely wrong. Okay. What has been laid herein about the land of gold and land of diamond is in agreement with the opinion of Acharya Purna Prajna. If the fringes of the earth were just earthy, it being prone to denudation, the measurement given as exact to a mustard seed would not remain constant. Hence, Lord Sri Hari has created the hard diamond land around. Okay, wow, imagine that, a land of diamond and gold. It says it right here. But I mean, imagine that. So anyway, this is pretty interesting. I've had this even more in the stream. There's a region of complete darkness. This is called Andan Tamas. Andan Tamas. The pit of darkness known as Andan Tamas is situated below the earth level, sunk in Ganodaka. This region surrounds the Loka Parvata and is termed Adogati, or the downward path, because Andat Tamas is below the level of Ganodaka. It is possible for sinners to go up, down into it to some extent, and to come up again. That they go down and come up has been stated by Sri Vyasa Maharshi, the author of the Brahma Sutras. The pit of darkness is very, very deep. Sinners who deserve greater punishment than what they may suffer in the ordinary hells are made to go down into the pit of darkness to some extent, and they come up. But those who are thrown down into the lower parts known as tamas, mahatamas, and dandantamas never come up. They are the third kind of souls who are doomed to suffer in the eternal hells. So there you have it, direct from the horse's mouth. For those of you who think yoga or Vedic thought doesn't have a hell. So, booyah. It's completely wrong and diluted. I mean, these things exist, they're real, they're metaphysical places of pain and suffering for those who were miserable in this life or other lifetimes. The principle of darkness extends even higher than Loka Loka Parvata, which is 51 lakh yojanas high. It is petrified darkness like water turned into ice. You see, this is talking about some sort of a wall. It's petrified darkness like water turned into ice. If it were not so, where was the need for Sri Krishna, Lord of the Yadus, to create a tunnel through it by means of his chakra, this weapon? So we'll have to read that another time, but it looks like a very interesting story. The chakra wielded by Sri Krishna is one of the principle of light in the main. It is praised as Sudarshana Mahajwala Koti Surya Samaprabha, a weapon blazing with the brightness of crores of suns. When Sri Krishna had to drive Arjuna's chariot towards Anantasana in the Ganodaka, far beyond the petrified circle of darkness, he had to cut through it and make a tunnel. It was easy for the disk of light to go through the darkness. This was on the occasion for bringing back the dead son of the Guru. And I'll tell you what, that sounds exactly just like a plasma torch. Now, this video is not about plasma torches, but this is the latest technology in deep drilling. And it goes back to the fundamentals of what is matter and what it's not. And matter is condensed light. And so if you have a powerful enough instruction based on light, you can go through matter like if there was nothing there, like even the hardest matter, because it's going to give an instruction that needs to be of a higher order to the matter to move aside and to melt apart. So that's the principle underlying that. So Sri Krishna, being the Almighty, I mean, he's just going, effortlessly through this solidified darkness, but it's probably there for a good reason, so that demons cannot come into this realm, or that we cannot leave the realm. And look at this. From time immemorial, demons like Kali and his troop have been dropped into this pit of darkness and are bound to suffer acute pains. Their number is uncountable. Wow. Let that sink in. If you guys know your Bible, you're immediately going to notice that this is referring to Apocalypse 9:11, like directly. Revelation 9:11, or Apocalypse as it's called in Greek. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. This is from the KJV. And now, for example, from the NIV, they had a king over them, the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek is Apollyon, the destroyer. So you see, guys, there's no syncretism here. We're just connecting the dots because we're not entirely stupid. We have been most of our lives, but we're trying to change that, right? So forget about the labels, forget about the name calling, people trying to tear you down. Truth is truth, and we are on our quest to find it. So Kali Asura is clearly the same as Apollo. It's clearly the same entity as the devil. Okay? It is because there are innumerable Kalis with their followers, those who were thrown into Andantamas during the countless previous Mahabrahma Kalpas, even during Mahapralaya, the long period following final dissolution of the universe. Just even like Vaikuntha Loka, this hell remains in its place without undergoing extinction by the consuming fire of Pralaya and the like. But the suffering demons of that region are taken up into the belly of Sri Hari, who rests on the banyan leaf of the tree of life like an innocent child. Even when the demons are there in God's belly, they suffer pain so natural to their own non-material bodies, sore eyes, headaches, stomach pain, and also different kinds of body and mental illness. Body here means the non-material body, again, by the command of Sri Hari, which is another name of the Almighty. Don't get sidetracked because of the name nomenclature, guys. They are assigned to Andan Tamas, the hell of eternal damnation, when another universe is created. Assigned, very interesting because Hari is also the color green. It's the Aurora Borealis. The Aurora Borealis at the North Pole, guys, is what assigns the soul its next life. And all the Inuit legends are not legends, they're truth. It says so in the Bhagavad Gita. I'll share that with you in another video, but it's saying that right here. Sri Hari, the Aurora Borealis, which is part of the Creator, part of God, it's assigning the souls what their next step might be when you die. The Aurora Borealis takes you up and then puts you back where you need to go, be it heaven, be it hell, or be it another body. When another universe is created, there they are tormented by fire, rockfall, sharp weapons, and piercing beaks of birds, and by being made to wade through excretion, urine, blood, and the like. They suffer varieties of pains as they did during the previous kalpas. Kalpa means like a cycle of time. No doubt it is their fate to suffer in Andantamas, but such suffering is the need of their very nature. They are incorrigible, veteran sinners whose perverted knowledge, Midyajana, makes them so. Who does this remind you of? Like, if not the demon cabal in apparent control of worldly affairs right now. But, oh my God, well, they're deluded and they're incorrigible, and this is what they're going. Not because I'm saying it, because, the text is saying so. And I think it's highly likely. Because the selves are non-material, they cannot be cut to pieces and are made into parts. As such, wrongful or use of weapons do not destroy the spiritual selves. They only inflict pain. When the demons are made to suffer being bit by leeches with diamond-like teeth, being subjected to the heat of fire, by rockfall, or by being made to wallow in the mire of excretion, urine, and blood, and by hearing constant wails and fearful cries, or when pungent and bitter liquids are poured into their eyes, ears, and noses, it is their innate sorrow that expresses itself. What powerful and torment. This is pretty crazy. And this is itself why Christ tells us, don't judge other people, lest thee be judged yourself, and pray for your enemies. Because, if this is what in store for evil folks, man, it looks pretty harrowing, if I may say so myself. These painful experiences are referred to as panchakasta, fivefold torture affecting the sense organs. Hearing fourfold cries, seeing horrible weapons, smelling nasty things, torture suffered by a test of hot liquids and suffering bunch. For any ordinary person, this description may appear repugnant, but as do the wrong notion of universal kindness. Those who plead for divine mercy for one and all are only the kind-hearted good souls. It is not the demons themselves. They prefer suffering and blasphemy and then find pleasure in it. It's like Satan in Paradise Lost saying, I can make a heaven of hell. This aspect is not very easy to appreciate unless one takes the trouble to understand that the non-material soul is and how souls differ from each other by their very natures. The mango tree prefers sweetening minerals from its growth, while the neem tree prefers only the minerals that give bitterness. And then it goes into the netherworlds, Mount Meru, and a lot of other stuff, guys, that I think is beyond the scope of this video right now. So the main takeaway is that all these things are real. We live in a universe, if you want to call it that, a cosmos, that is apparently 7 concentric circles of 7 concentric sets of lands and waters. And you cannot easily pass amongst them. There might be certain boundaries between them, and this all has been obscured from us. Now, very importantly, since we're talking about the hells, let's talk about the 3 gates of hell, which Sri Krishna mentions are lust, anger, and greed. So the 3 gates leading to hell or self-destruction of the soul: lust, anger, and greed. Because ultimately you do it to yourself. So I would be remiss if I didn't share that with you. Now, more confirmation. So let's get confirmation. Keys to truth. I don't believe in the ancient text too much. I'm very skeptical. And what else do you have for me? Well, we have what the demon cabal knows. And they look at this portrayal at the DFW airport. They have the 7 concentric circles. They didn't put 7, but they had some concentric circles in this depiction. And if you go to that airport, you'll see it there for yourself as part of like an onion, and they're kind of not level. And they also have these medallions, and in the medallions you can see also, this is the one that caught my attention. This is how I initially figured it out, because they have this medallion with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They missed 2, but it's the same principle, and we're the ones here at the middle. Although, I mean, this was supposed to be only for humans, but apparently we got infiltrated by the serpent seed, and everything went to hell. Sorry about that, but we'll have to come back from it. Like, it's your choice every single minute of every day that's making that difference, and of course the grace of the Almighty and Christ that will redeem us. But we let them snakes come in, and they're actual snakes. They're at the very top. They're not 100% human, and that's a subject for a different video. I don't want to freak you out, but yeah, we've been infiltrated and infested by these demons. But our evil choice or good choice every minute of every day will determine that outcome. Here we have another the medallion, and all these things are like huge undertakings for the airport. So they don't give these out to just anybody. And for example, here they have the giant trees that were cut down. And the Bhagavad Gita tells exactly how they and why they were cut down. I'll do that in a different video. Here we have another medallion which tells you what is underneath us. These are the hells. And they are also the electromagnetic domains that create what people think of as gravity. Gravity doesn't exist per se. It is more likely the combination of a magnetic and electric field, which leads to the Lorentz effect or the Lorentz force, which is an acceleration. And I'll do that again on another video. I'm sorry I keep saying that, but look at these are the electromagnetic domains. In red, why it would be in red? Because of the heat underneath. This is all electromagnetic induction. That is why we get lava. And so let's look at these medallions a little deeper so you can see what I mean and decode them. Ted Kincaid painted the one about the 7 seas. Jane Helslander painted the one about the underworld. And look at the name, Helslander. Really, are you kidding me? That's like a pseudonym, if there ever was one. Helslander, somebody from the land of hell. Give me a break. So let's look at Ted Kincaid, and he's talking about, here, when you click on this, they tell you, look, the circular medallion is located, blah, blah, blah. My first thought when anybody asks me to discuss my work is, if I could explain it, there would be no need to make an image of it. To say that some people tend to view this as an evasive response is euphemistic, but the true subject matter of these pieces cannot flow in a coherent sentence structure. It's important that the forms in my work seem familiar yet unclassifiable. That's kind of weird, no? Much the same as when something appears in a dream that you recognize but are unable to actually put your finger on the source. The orbs, clusters, patterns, reference clouds, UFOs. UFOs, what does that have to do with anything? Fakes and authentic. You see how he puts a comma here, but paranormal images and visual. He's talking about fake and authentic UFOs because he's alluding to the fact that a lot of these things are man-made, but a lot of them come from outside our region, from the extraterrestrial regions, meaning there's more Earth. In essence, things that, whether they actually exist or not, whether they can be seen or not, can be photographed, documented. The forms are usually, but not always, contained within the borders. You see how he's doing all these puns of the image to help convey the fact that they exist only within a certain state of reality, within the boundaries. You see? Like a sample under microscope or animal removed from its environment. See, he's alluding to the fact that the demon snakes don't come from here. They come from either the underworld or one of the other regions. and they infiltrated and infested us, and we need to get rid of them. How we do that starts in your heart. All right. So this is very telling. Let's see a Jane Helslander. I feel that my work, which has evolved from an abstraction of crowds of dancing people, blah blah blah, intricate waltz. I like the idea of functional space sounds about aesthetic pleasure, doesn't inhabit them, doesn't say much. Now let's look at their websites. Ted Kincaid, he's talking about moons, possible moon. Why would he be talking about moons, other moons? You see how they mess with you, and they like, because there might be a different, each set of these different concentric circles might have its own moon and its own sun to heat it up and to cool it down, because they're all self-contained. You see? And then Jane, floating in a space, a waltz, the waltz of electricity. And when you look at her website, you notice she has that recurring theme. And look at this one. So I'm not making this up. I'm an empath. And I see these paintings and I know this, she's talking about electricity and electromagnetism. And boom, voila, you see? Right there, that's the name of it. So my first impression was correct. This is underneath the earth. This is where we are at the current level. Alrighty? And in the middle of everything, we have the giant tree of life. This is from Houston Airport. And at the middle of everything, of all the 7 seas and all the 7 continents and the 7 divisions, you have the giant tree of life. And when you see up, and it's lighted because it has stars, it's star-studded everywhere. And it appears as the Milky Way when you're looking up at it, you see? And because the firmament is moving around, it has that rotation effect. But the tree itself is not moving. And this is where oil comes from. This is where purified water comes from for rivers. And that's why the endless flow of water never ceases. And it drinks the oceans twice in every day. And that's what gives the tides. And it renders the sun and the moon. The sun it makes with the salt, and the moon it makes with the nitrogen and some calcium as well. And it makes the stars. And it's the actual body of Christ. Like in a metaphysical, but also in a physical sense. And the Seattle airport, they also have the root system of the tree of life. And again, in these airports, which are huge projects, they only, they put these things because even the demons worship um, in their own twisted, sick way, the creation, and they kind of laugh that we don't know anything about it. All right. So I hope this helps you guys on your journey. Many blessings to you.